I've always wanted a license plate frame for my car that was Go related. Nothing too flashy, just something that kind of signaled out to any other Go players out there, letting them know that I am here, a Go player in existence. And so I made one for myself, and it says I'd rather be playing Go. Kind of a cliche little thing, it's a little cheesy, but I like it. I put it on my car, and it is the latest product in the Starpoint store. I opted for the tan version, although it came out a little bit pinkish, although I don't mind that. Just to give you guys warning, there may be some color variation from what you see on the screen. I put out a whole bunch of different colors because I didn't know what people wanted. And they didn't let me put color variations inside the product for some reason. Had to upload it several times, but whatever car color you have, I'm sure you'll find something that'll fit. But yeah, I got one of those, slapped it on my car, so now everybody knows I'm a Go player. And but most people will probably look at the plate thinking, I don't know what that means. I guess they'd rather, this is someone who doesn't know how to speak English. I don't know how you play Go. Go is a verb. That means to, how do you define the word go as a verb? Move, I guess? I don't know. You're listening to Starpoint, the show about Go for Go fans away from the board. I failed to mention Starpoint store is at store.starpointpaduk.com if you're interested. There are a couple other things in there, so take a look. And I played another game this past week. As I have mentioned, I've been trying to play at least a game a week, and I did succeed this past week, and I lost. Finally, it happened. I lost to somebody. And it made me think of how different the games can be. The types of games you encounter, they can have so many different stories. And like you can have one that's just peaceful territory counting, which is kind of the worst thing for me. I hate those kind of games where you're just kind of not really interacting as much with each other and you're just taking points and trying to make sure you're ahead. But that is a kind of game that happens. There's like the dragon hunting game where there's somebody with a giant group that you're trying to kill. But the game that I played and lost in was interesting because it gave a lot of different local problems of life and death and Tesujis that made me really realize how much of a weakness I have in that area, because during the game, I didn't have enough time to think about those things. And I just had to guess sometimes because of the time restriction. And so I have a lot to study from that game. I have to look at the game and see what's really going on and what the local positions really suggest, where the killing and surviving moves are and all that. So it's a rich game for study. Not all the games are like that. Some of the games, they're just kind of like very simple positions, and it's like those are connected and those are not. And I don't know, it doesn't take much to see that. But this game, it was just kind of confusing to me, had me disoriented a bit. And so I lost at the end of the day. So I'm going to go back and study that game some more and try to dig up some more wisdom from it. Although I do get a little bit stuck sometimes, and I look at it and I'm like, I just don't know. Even with AI, I analyze the board and it's difficult. And that's when you get to kind of consult a stronger player. I'm going to do something a little different this week. I noticed a couple of posts over the week on Reddit, and it's kind of a common theme. So I'm going to go ahead and read through a couple of Reddit posts on our Paduk from this week. But before that, I wanted to mention a couple of funny memes I saw on a particular meme, Paduk meme Reddit. If you know, you know. There's one that I saw that was the change my mind meme, where this guy at a coffee, I think he's Steven Crowder. He's like holding a coffee mug, and he has like this table, like a tabling thing at a college campus, and there's like a sign that says change my mind, and on this meme it said Yosei is for those who can't win without it. And I'm so in that camp. I'm like, if it comes down to Yosei at this point, it's like you kind of could have won without getting to counting points, without going for the little points. You could have won in a bigger way. Well, that has been my mentality for a very long time until I've lost by a couple points here and there, and I realize how important Yosei can be. It's just that it's hard to focus on it because, getting really good at Yosei, I don't know how many games that'll get you, It doesn't seem like the best use of your time in studying, but I definitely, this meme resonated with me for sure. I can't really, and I wouldn't advise studying Yosei 90% of your study time either, right? I think you should focus on like reading and Sumego and Life and Death. Things like that should take the bulk of it. And then next would come like opening theory, and then would come Yosei, I think. Opening theory is kind of key and vital, and you do need to make sure that is in there, but it's just not something I would personally think that would take most of the time. But Yosei does kind of trail in that mix, and if you don't know what Yosei means, by the way, it kind of means end game. I don't think it's perfectly synonymous, but it's basically end game, and it's very difficult. Honestly, that's the other reason why I don't like studying it. It's really difficult. It's just hard to wrap your head around, and it's a lot of counting. It's a lot of sequence. Like, it's like not just reading, but also counting. And it's like Tsuji mixed in there with it. It's difficult. But yeah, I enjoyed that meme. Another one that I saw that I enjoyed was you got this person with their head replaced with a Go board. And he's saying, "I feel bad for you," to somebody else. And that somebody else is the same person, is a person with a chess board representing chess. And he says, "I don't think about you at all." And this is so true. This is so true. It's like you learn this amazing game called Go, and you look at chess and you're like, man, I'm so glad Go exists because I think it's so much better than chess. And chess players, meanwhile, are like, what's Go? And it's just how it goes. But enough of the memes. Let's get on to the Reddit posts. So we got a couple people talking about being a little frustrated, downtrodden, and discouraged about this game. So let's look at what somebody had to say here. The title is "Give Go Another Shot or Move On." And this is self-reported 25Q player who says, "Hi all, I need some advice on learning Go. Maybe someone here can relate. I find the game interesting, but not to the point where I think about it all day or want to play nonstop. My interest is somewhere in the middle. At the same time, I find it really hard to actually get better at it. I played for about half a year, mostly at local Go meetups. It was fun, but also frustrating. That was about a year and a half ago. Playing exposed a lot of my weaknesses in strategic thinking and decision making. That was frustrating. Not discouraging exactly, but it definitely got under my skin. Still, I feel like learning Go could be a good way to work on those weaknesses. The most common advice I see is play, then review your games and learn from your mistakes. I tried it when playing online, but I find that really hard to do. I already made the mistakes, so analyzing them feels hard, sometimes impossible, even with the help of AI. Also, let's be clear, I'm slow. Excuse me. I'm slow. Playing Go with 30 seconds for a move is super stressful for me. Playing online, I was in stress most of the time. Playing offline without time limit, I felt bad that I'm wasting my opponent's time. Ooh, okay, I have things to say about all these things. I'm going to reserve them for the end. So here I am again. I'm still somewhat interested in Go, and I want to give it another shot. I want to find an interesting hobby. I also feel like it could help me grow as a person, but the constant struggles make it hard to stick with. How do I figure out if Go is something I should keep trying to learn, or if it's just not for me and I should move on? Maybe this belongs more in our psychology than our Paduk, but any thoughts are welcome. Well, I think we see this kind of post all the time on our Paduk. You see people getting discouraged. As you'll see in the next post, it's a similar sentiment from this one. Let's break this down. So, the first thing that this person says is, I find the game interesting, but not to the point where I think about it all day or want to play nonstop. Which, honestly, I am kind of there. I don't know if I want to play nonstop, but I do think about it all the time. Like, I'm always thinking about Go and like what Go is, and just, I don't know, it's just like occupies a good portion of my brain. And there is a Kageyama quote, I think, in the Lessons of the Fundamentals of Go. I think in the beginning he says something like, if you want to get better at Go, you have to like live, breathe, eat, and sleep Go, or something like that. Something along those lines of like, it has to consume you. You have to love more. You have to love Go more than you love life itself. Almost, I think that's what he says, something like that. And it's true. Like, that is really a huge driver of improvement at the game. If you don't love the game, you're probably not going to make it too far, because you're just going to get tired of it, and it's not an easy game. So I think this person's very self-aware in terms of where their passion lies in this game, and where their passion may need to lie in order to improve at it. But I will also say in response that my passion for the game did not just come out of nowhere. I didn't fall in love completely at first sight. If you look back on my older episodes and see that my personal Go journey episode was about me kind of getting introduced to the game multiple times and kind of losing interest multiple times until it took hold of me with its death grip and never let go since then. But it's just such a doozy of a game when you first get introduced to it. You look at Go and you're like, this is very interesting, but also I've never seen anything like it, and it's just, my brain just can't process it. And I think I'm going to just leave it for the people who are playing it right now, but I'm not going to really interact with it. Then the next time you interact with it, you're like, okay, I remember this game. You know what? This is still a really interesting looking game, and it's still very difficult, but I can kind of see what's happening a little bit. Like, I see what people are trying to do in the game. It's still too difficult for me. I'm going to leave it alone. And you keep doing that, and eventually you get to the point where you're like, you know what? I feel like I can try something here. Maybe I want to play a game. Maybe I want to play 2 games. And then you start building that momentum, and it gets to a point where you feel like you are a Go player, right? And at 25Q, yeah, that's where you're probably going to feel like. I don't know if any 25Q players are going to be so passionate about the game for a long time and then also stay at 25Q, right? And then the next thing that the poster mentioned was that they played for about half a year at local Go meetups, being frustrated that it revealed their mistakes. Now, this is like a key thing. I think this is one reason why so many people are not into Go, because when you start playing, it's just like this mirror that is perfectly clean, right? This board is a mirror that is perfectly clean and has no blemishes, and you look at it and you see yourself and you see all your flaws in perfect clarity, and it is ugly and you don't like it. And you have to face those things in order to get better, in order to improve at the game and learn how to play. And most people don't like that feeling. Most people want to look at that mirror, look at all the flaws that they see and say, nope, I'm out of here. I don't want to play this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to look at my own flaws. So that's why it takes a good amount of spirit to play Go. You need to have that drive. But I find it interesting that the poster says that they played mostly at local meetups, because I think most people who get discouraged try at home and they get discouraged alone at home. But the fact that they went out to go meetups and played real people really is the opportunity that a lot of people miss, which is to form relationships around the game and actually consider it a social experience. And that's what is so good about actual Go meetups, is that it's not just dependent on your love of the game, but your love of the people around you that you're playing with. So it's like a twofold reinforcement of having this relationship with the game and having a relationship with other Go players. So, I mean, maybe this person's not super social. They don't really care about like the social aspect, and they're just focused on playing the games. But I would encourage anybody who's going to a Go meetup to explore that side and say like, hey, this isn't just about playing Go. This is also about meeting people, making friends, and forming relationships, right? So I don't know. I think that would maybe be enough for a lot of people to just kind of continue with the hobby and be like, oh, I found a group of people who likes this game and who like this game. I like it enough and it's enjoyable to play with them. But if Go is really your top priority and you really want to improve, then I guess it is more efficient to go the online route because you can play a lot more games and get exposed to a lot more different play styles. And honestly, we're in the age of like the strongest average population of Go players ever in existence, right? I can't see back in the 1800s this many players who play Go at this level that we play at, even like double-digit Q level. I think that the vast majority of people were just not exposed to enough Go. That said, the people who were into Go, who did spend their lives playing Go, I think probably were a lot stronger on average than us. But I think we just have more people at a higher level in Go. Then they go on to say, play, then review your games and learn from your mistakes is the most common advice that they see. And they reflect a sentiment that I mentioned today as well, because analyzing the game is not always easy, even with the help of an AI. I literally said that. And that's just a challenge with the game. Like, there are just things that are just gonna be hard with Go. And that's, if that's something that really turns you off and you really don't like it, and that's something that you don't want to do, then maybe it's not the hobby for you. Or maybe you'd rather take a different approach to the hobby, one that's not so hardcore on improvement, but one on having a little bit more fun. I think that at that level, you still need a lot of exposure to the game. I don't know how much exposure. They said they played for half a year at Go meetups. Go meetups I don't think they're going to really give you the most opportunity for playing games. I mean, I don't know how often you're going to the Go meetups. For me, like, we have Go meetups semi around me like once a week, right? So if you're going once a week, playing Go once a week, that's going to be pretty slow in terms of the progress that you make. Whereas if you play online, you could play like multiple times a week and it could be quite a lot more studying. And then they make a comment about being slow, playing Go for 30 seconds, a move being super stressful, and playing offline without a time limit, you feel bad, like you're wasting your opponent's time. I can relate to that in a way. When I'm playing without a casual game without a time limit, it's always hard to tell how long you're supposed to take. There are many different personalities with that issue. Some people, they're just like, well, I'm going to take as long as I need. And then they just sit there. They don't feel bad at all. You see that they just want to take the time that they want to take. Some people, they match their opponent, which is kind of what I do. I notice how much time my opponent takes, and then I'll take the liberty to take a little more time on certain moves, but I'll generally match kind of the pace that they're taking. And obviously, if you're playing a casual game, you don't want to take an hour for a move. That's not really the point. If you're going to play that kind of game, you might want to play with time control. So I don't know, for this person, the solution here should probably be play with a time control, but a longer setting, right? 30 seconds per move. If that's super stressful for you, then just expand the time setting and play online there, right? So, because the thing is, without playing it with the time control, you're kind of, it's kind of an etiquette based thing. Like, how long should you be taking for this game? But honestly, playing Go, I don't know. It's about time management. It's about thinking about the moves, right? That's when you're playing, so you shouldn't feel bad about that. But I feel like there are a lot of solvable problems here in this person's post. So, yeah, I mean, for me, to give my 2 cents on this, I mean, I've already given my 20 cents on this, but to wrap it up, I would say keep at it, but stop being so serious about it, which is funny because I think that seriousness helps on later on, right? If you're kind of trying to get into it and you've been failing to get into it, stop taking it so seriously and just play. Just kind of expose yourself to the game. Don't think that you have to win every game. Don't think that you have to learn everything like in one game or even anything at all. Just play and look how pretty the moves are on the board. Think about the game in a leisurely way and let yourself absorb it, I would say, rather than trying to get so good at it that you really have to get to the next level, especially at this level. I think there's a lot to learn just from exposing yourself to the game at that level. So I mentioned another post that is similar, and I'm going to go ahead and read that one as well. It is like kind of, this is in the same week that we had two of these kinds of posts. So we have these kind of posts pretty often. So I want to see anything new coming from this second post. And the second post called, Does it ever get better? Does it ever suddenly click? I'm a beginner player, 30 to 25 Q. I dropped the game for a few years because I got frustrated with play and getting destroyed by every opponent. Now I've been a bit more consistent, wanting to learn more, doing puzzles, playing humans instead of AI, etc. And I still feel like my skill is lacking severely. I find some of the beginner capture Tsumego puzzles easy, but don't find a way to apply it to the game itself. I play aggressively, I get outplayed. I play defensively, I get outplayed. I feel like I generally can't improve, even though I want to seriously get better. So for those who have climbed to even high DDK, does it get better? Does it get easier? And then there's an edit. After looking at some ELO to Q conversions, I'm probably like 32 Q. It's disheartening to be this bad at the game. Edit 2. It's actually 36 Q. I don't think this person is... I don't think this person's 32Q or 36Q because I think 30Q level is the zero knowledge level. So I really want to take that with a grain of salt. And I don't even know where they're getting the ELO to Q conversions. Maybe they're on OGS and they don't know how to switch the ELO readings to the Q readings or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's no way this person is over a 30Q. They're likely 25Q or something like that. I would say, if you've spent some time in Go, you've started at 25Q. I think 30Q is like you got someone off the street and they just put down stones. I think. Who knows? But so again, a similar sentiment here. This person doesn't feel like they're getting better at Go, and they're also it seems like they are serious about the game, and I think that can be our detriment sometimes in the beginning, because in the beginning we really, I don't know, I think a lot of us want to figure it out, right? We want to figure out this game once and for all or something like that, but it's really a slow process. Just like the game itself, when you win a game, it's a slow process of just making the good value moves throughout the entire game. So likewise, when you start learning Go, you're not going to get these big gains. Like, you're not going to have this clicking moment. You may have monumental moments that mean something to you when you win a game and you feel like that game really represented a lot of your efforts. Those things do come, but it's really not just this one moment where you're just like, you get hit in the head with an apple and you suddenly figure out the law of gravity or something. But it seems like this person's really doing everything that they should be doing in order to improve. They're playing more consistently. They're doing life and death problems. They're playing humans instead of AI. So I think some information is lacking here because I don't know exactly how long they've been doing this. Maybe they just started this week and then they feel like it's not working. Or if it's been like years, then that's a different problem. And I have to think about, well, what's going on over there? So it's hard to say without knowing the timeline. But I mean, I think the same advice would be for this player that I gave to the other player, which is don't take it so seriously. And I understand that you guys want to take Go seriously and get better. And that's the same mentality that I have, that I've always had as well. But sometimes that can really hinder you in terms of the psychology of it all. I think you're going to want to see progress in places where you may not see progress. And sometimes you just got to expose yourself to the game. You just got to play. You got to have passion for the game and let that game consume you, and you'll see results. There's no way you're not going to see results. I like that they're also playing aggressively, getting outplayed, playing defensively, getting outplayed. You're eventually going to be the outplayer. There's no doubt about it. Like, unless you're purposefully playing against only strong players, you're like specifically challenging SDKs at your level, well then, yeah, of course that's what's going to happen. Or if you're playing this one friend who's better than you, then of course that's what's going to happen, right? If that's your goal, I'm sorry, there's no way you're just going to randomly beat somebody who's been at this game longer than you and know more than you. You're going to have to build up to that. But if you're playing random people and you're getting match made through the ranking system, you're going to find people at your level and weaker than you, and you're going to start winning games. It's just how it works. It's math, right? It's not something about anything unique from person to person. It's just how matchmaking works. And so for both of these players, I would say keep at it, right? Obviously, I'm running a Go podcast and I love Go. And I'm obviously not going to turn anyone away from the game, but I would say tone it down a bit and just try to find the beauty of the game. Try to find the flow and fun of the game and enjoy the game as much as you can, because we are not insane. We're not trying to become professionals. If you're trying to become a professional, we'll talk about that on a different episode. But as beginner Go players, we're just trying to enjoy ourselves, right? So what's the point in stressing out at such an early stage? Just enjoy the game, keep playing, and keep being open to learning new things. And yeah, if you want to work hard at it and you enjoy working hard at it, work hard at it. But if your only desire is to become a Dawn-ranked player, and that's like, just think about why you want that so badly, first of all, and whether it's worth playing a game that you're not enjoying to get this kind of title for yourself. Because if you're not enjoying the game, then what's the point in being good at it, right? The game has so much more to offer than the ranking that you get assigned and being good at it. So enjoy the rank that you're at. You're never going to be at that rank again. There are things that you'll experience at that rank that you won't be able to experience at a later rank. I don't know if some of you understand what I mean by that, but there are some wild games I played at like double-digit Q levels that I won't be able to play those kind of games again. And like, I don't know, it's not that it's sad. Like, I love being stronger than that, but I'm glad I went through that. I'm glad I went through those games and I gave myself the opportunity to learn from those games and see the type of drama that plays out from those games. It's very different. It's very entertaining. But just keep at it. I think, again, just don't take it super seriously. Okay, so I have one more Reddit post that I do want to read. This one's not really of the same theme, but was pretty popular and was posted this past week, I believe. And this one's called "Is Go Dying?" And this one says, the poster says, "Today I was looking for Go channels. Nick Sabicki is not posting regularly anymore. Hey Lee stopped completely, and I don't see any new YouTubers taking their place. There's Dwyron and, in German, JupTube, but they're just not the same." Ooh. Sensei's library was last updated in 2021. The Austrian Go group in OGS has the last posting from Saturday, August 8th, 2015. Am I just in the wrong places, grieving for the good old times? I kind of have the feeling that today the community is on Twitch. Is this so? Can anybody help find a place to watch reviews of games or commented Go games in German or English? Is it possible that the loss against AlphaGo years ago was the beginning of a downfall? Well, I think this person is just a little out of the loop. There are plenty of Go content creators out there. In fact, I think it's the most it's ever been. Sure, yeah, there's some YouTubers like Nick Sabicki who have retired, kind of. I don't think it's like a hard retire, just kind of backed off a bit. A lot of different contributors that the commenters have mentioned, like Go Inside, I've always mentioned Paduk Doctor, Go Pro Yonu, Z Chen, Go Magic, Explorer Paduk, Awesome Paduk, Ben Kyo, Telegraph Go. There's actually quite a bit, but you do have to keep your eyes peeled for it. You got to frequent the Reddits. You got to see what the names are that are being mentioned are. You got to go make sure you subscribe to the channels that you come across on YouTube. Look for Go videos on YouTube. You'll find all sorts of people making content for Go. Struggle Bus is another one I just mentioned, or I just thought about. Triton Paduk is also great, right? So, and you can also go back to that way back when episode of the content creators episode that I did on Starpoint that lists a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's not dead. It's actually more alive than ever, I think. And I think this person maybe just kind of had I've never heard of JupTube either, though. Might have to... If it's in German, though, it's not going to really be much help for me. But yeah, I don't think Go is dead at all. I think that we are thriving. And there's actually a third Go podcast, believe it or not, called it's called Don and the Q. I'm excited. I haven't listened yet, but I'm excited that there is another Go podcast. And it's just, I feel like you always see new content creators for Go, and it's great. And I don't know what this person's talking about, but good to see the community come together to politely correct this person and tell them about all the different people who are contributing to the Go world. Go actually was so much invigorated by the AlphaGo event. I think that a lot of people came to Go from learning about Go through that event. So I think Go has such a lasting value, and it's just been proven throughout history to just survive. Even though it's not always the most popular thing at the time, there's always a select group of people who are very passionate about the game to carry it on. And these rules, they're just so elegant that, I mean, how can a game with such elegant rules ever die? Let's learn to watch some Paduk TV. Today I'm going to teach you 2 words. I think you're ready to take on 2 words. And if you feel overwhelmed by the Korean that I'm throwing at you, don't worry, these ones are just 1 syllable each. I mean, come on. This is going to be the words for black and white when I'm playing Go. White is pick. And black is hook. Okay? If you're having trouble hearing what I'm saying, it's kind of romanized to B-A-E-K for pick and H-E-U-K for hook. So pick is white, hook is black. I don't know if I have a good mnemonic for you guys. Maybe it's the opposite of what, they sound like, because pick kind of sounds more like black, but it's actually white. Pick is white and hook is black. Try to remember that. Pick, white, hook, black. In a way, it's kind of difficult to respond to these posts as a player who's been playing for so long. I feel like I have forgotten a lot of what it feels like to be at that stage, but you can kind of see it in the history of where my startup of the game, where I didn't want to play it at first, and it took many tries before I actually got into it as a consistent hobby. But I'm very grateful that I have this game and I'm able to experience what I've got to experience with the game. And it's like the fulfillment you get for overcoming hurdles and difficulties and getting to a point where you realize that you've become better and that you've learned something. It's hard to describe. It's just such an interestingly rewarding feeling to have won a game and realize that you wouldn't have won that game in the past. And you're just a better player now. That's what keeps the addiction going, to be honest. Nothing quite like that feeling. So I would say you know what? Whoever wants to persevere and get better at this game, you will be rewarded. That's the 2 cents that I'll give. And now it's time for the DDK Advice Corner. My tip of the day is pick your favorite child so you know which one to save when your house is on fire. Just kidding. I mean it's a bit of a brutal way to express that, but I think you should choose one of your groups to save. Basically, you can't save both. You might as well save one of them sometimes, right? I see a lot of players running themselves into places where they divide their 2 groups and then they have their groups pit against each other, and you're trying to save both of them. You're playing moves here, you're playing moves there, and every time you play on one side, your opponent starts making the other side weaker. Then you realize that, you go back to the other side, you try to save that one, the other. Just make a big play. I know it'll be difficult to judge where the big play and where the big sacrifice will be as a DK, but experiment with that idea of sacrificing one side to save the more important side, rather than trying to save all of your stones everywhere. Now, you're going to run into some problems doing this. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice groups that are very important, and you're going to say, oh, Justin, why did you tell me to sacrifice things when that was actually a super important group I needed to keep? But that's part of the learning process. But know that it's usually not great to be splitting your resources on 2 groups that are kind of damaging each other. And now it's time for listener mail. Josh writes, "Hi, this is Josh from Australia. Love the show and listen to it while I'm working so that I may bear my current job while I'm studying." I don't know what you mean by bear your current job, whether that's a typo or an Australian phrase. Either way, thanks for listening, and shout out to Australia. I don't think I give Australia enough shout outs for Starpoint listeners. I always just mention Europe. I found it pertinent, your point about the need for representation of Go in media. I've been playing a few months and was first guided to it properly watching the Gundam Origins series, where a character plays it on his cool board-to-screen sci-fi Go tech. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know Gundam had Go in it. I have a love for board games, usually complex war games and such, and one day I decided to go into a Mr. Toy's Toy World after work and got a bunch of classic games, one of them being Go. You act like I know what Mr. Toy's Toy World is. Well, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, but that's funny. Fallen in love and deep into the weeds of the game since the depth simply through the ripple effect of the basic rules is my favorite aspect, and that lets me spend hours solving problems and playing games, slowly learning more and more about the possible permutations a fight can go in. Thank you from Australia, Josh. You're very welcome, and thank you for listening. I'm very happy to hear about your Go origin story and how you fell in love with the game. I definitely relate to what you said about the ripple effect of the basic rules, that emergent property thing that you get just from these simple rules. It always reminds me of John Conway's Game of Life. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. It's pretty cool. And yeah, what you mentioned about all the possible permutations, that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm reviewing my games recently. There's just so much you can study in one game that you played in, like for a game you played in 30 minutes, you can spend for hours just studying every single position. And it's really hard to tell for me, like, where the best value is, but that's what's so cool about Go. There is just so much depth in every game. Thanks for writing in, Josh. Garrett writes, "Hey Justin, still enjoying the podcast a lot and appreciate you keeping it up. I was going to write this email last week when the episode topic was a little fresher, but ran out of time. While I was a little let down when it didn't get too much mention time, I'm encouraged that you want to give talk a try." Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have much to say about talk because I've never tried it. So maybe I'll look at a video and see what it's what the actual rules are, and then I can comment on it more. If at all possible, I do recommend trying to play it IRL first, as you mentioned that you want. While I agree with the past writer that Hive is more aligned with chess than Go, I do think that talk falls a little closer to Go on the spectrum, if such a thing exists. Well, there's definitely a Go to chess spectrum, I think. That said, I think the game itself has an interesting history that not everyone always knows, as the game existed only fictitiously in a novel before ever being invented. While I love the game and think you will probably enjoy it when you get to explore it, I also think you'll find the description in The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss particularly interesting. I don't have my book with me at the moment, but from a quick search online, I found the following passage. Okay, good. I was about to Google it and read it for myself. I'm glad I didn't before I saw that you provided it here. Okay, so here's the passage from The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. My next several hours were spent learning how to play Tak. Even if I had not been nearly mad with idleness, I would have enjoyed it. Tak is the best sort of game, simple in its rules, complex in its strategy. Breeden beat me handily in all 5 games we played, but I am proud to say that he never beat me the same way twice. Interesting. Some additional details we learned. It is played on a table, which, if I remember correctly, took 2 people to carry. It is played with stones. Play focus shifts around the board. You got clever in the corner here. Sound like any other games you know of? I'm not the only person to think that Go was not in any small way inspiration for Tak in the novel and was only developed into an actual game later on. This really does sound like Go. If you're saying it's played on a table, which takes 2 people to carry, okay? I mean, what kind of board game apparatus takes 2 people to carry other than a floor Goban? If it's played with stones, what other game is played with stones than Go? And then what other game has play focus shifting around the board where somebody says you got clever in the corner here, as Go does? This is very much inspired by Go, very clearly to me as a Go player. To wrap things up, anyway, I am always excited for someone to give this game a try. It is truly beautiful and has a lot of the simple elegance that we all love about Go. Garrett, thank you so much for writing in. Seems like you're pretty passionate about Tak, and I'm sorry I don't know too much about it. I'm gonna have to do some research and see where I can. It's probably expensive, isn't it? Seems like an expensive game. Let's see how much this costs. Tak. Let's see how much it's on Amazon. Tak is. It's not like appearing as the. It's not appearing as the top search result on Amazon. Is it not available on Amazon? Oh man, this might be hard to get my hands on then. Have to go peruse the board game shops or something. I don't see it on Amazon. I'm very surprised. I thought this was more of a well-known game. Tak, a beautiful game. Oh, I did find it on Amazon. Currently unavailable. What is this? From what I remember, it's like you have to. I don't know. I remember watching a rules video once, and you just there's certain rules. You move pieces on top of other pieces, and I don't know, block your opponent in terms of doing something like that. But I remember it being very abstract and elegant and simple in its rules. Why can't I get this game? Oh well, I'll have to keep an eye on it. So yeah, anyway, thanks for writing in. Your passion for the game is not unnoticed, so I will keep my eyes peeled for it. There's this board game shop that I know of where they let you kind of rent table time, and you can pick out any board games that they have on the shelves and you just play it, and it's pretty cheap. It's like $3 an hour or something like that. And I think when I visited Canada, they had way better ones where they serve beer and pretzels and things like that, and you could and they even had board game experts to explain the rules to you. For the one that we have here in California, it's they don't really know how to play the games. You just have to use the game time to figure out the game. So we end up playing games that we're already familiar with, because it takes kind of a while to learn a new game. But maybe I'll go see if it's over there and see if I can play it there. Loomis Weasel writes, this is on the study plan episode. Old me, 100 games, 10 Sumego a week. New me, 1 game, 10,000 Sumego a week. Old me would be Old me would be 0 games a week, or 1 game a week, and like 3 Sumego problems a week. And then the not as old me would be 7 games a week, or like 5 games a week, and like a handful of Sumego problems a week. New me is 1 game a week, and again, handful of Sumego. I go into like little phases of like doing more Sumego, but yeah, maybe like I don't do that much, so I can really ramp it up if I want to get better. Banana Quark writes, for Go adjacent games, I loved the game Twixt as a child. It is very Go-like. I've never heard of this one. I'm gonna see real quick what that one looks like. Twixt game. Oh, it does look Go-like. It looks like oh, it's very interesting. So if you guys don't want to Google it, or if you're driving or something, Twixt looks like it's played on a grid of like a peg board, right? And there's 2 different colors, black and red, and the pegs, they connect with one another, and it looks like this like webbing almost. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like, just imagine pegs put into a pegboard, but the pegs are connected with like the lines of the color of the peg. It looks very interesting. Definitely looks like a distant cousin of Go. Very interesting. Goal. Okay, so here's more from Banana Quark. Goal. Connect your 2 opposite sides of the board with an unbroken chain of pegs and links. Okay, that sounds a lot like Hex. Setup. Each player chooses a color, black or white, and plays on a square board, usually 24 by 24 holes. You may not place pegs on your opponent's border rows. So the version I'm looking at is black and red. I see also a blue and red one. Seems the one you played was black and white. Turns. Players alternate turns. On your turn, either place a peg of your color on any open hole, not on the opponent's border, or add or remove one of your own links. This reminds me a little bit of Catan, how you get to build roads or houses. Links. After placing a peg, you may, but don't have to, add links to any of your own pegs that are a knight's move away, like chess, 2 + 1 or 1 + 2. Links cannot cross other links. Blocking. You can't place a link that would cross an existing link. Victory. First player to connect their 2 sides with a continuous chain of pegs and links wins. Have you, so Banana Quark, have you played also Hex, and how does it compare to Hex? Do you prefer it to Hex? Visually, it's very striking, I have to say. It's cool how it's like a node theme, like, it looks really cool. It looks really cool. And it's kind of like, it seems like it's kind of, a variant on Hex almost, because it has the same goal. But I wonder. I feel like it looks cooler than Hex, but I wonder which game is more fun. Anyway, thanks for writing in, Banana Quark, and thanks for letting me know about that interesting looking game. Sadaharu writes about study plans. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you don't know, Sadaharu is like one of the strongest players on OGS. Just throwing that out there. About study plans, I think having an actual checkbox to tick will help a lot. Be it an app, a physical notebook, or just a spreadsheet. Ticking the checkbox will give you a higher level of satisfaction compared to just following your calendar. Personally, I use an app called Habitify, and it has helped me greatly in doing my daily and weekly tasks. The app will also help to send notifications in case you forget. Most importantly, it will indicate your current streak, and losing a long-running streak will not look very nice, so it will motivate you more to keep on going. The Duolingo technique. Having said that, having kids will destroy all the plans you have, so looking forward to hearing your plans again after you get one. Yeah. Thanks, Sadaharu. I've got a couple of friends who been getting kids and been watching intently how it affects their lives. So, But yeah, I think I agree here with just kind of having some kind of order in your plan. So the checkbox method is very good because it gives you something to tick off, right? It gives you something to tick off, and it can also help track what you've been studying. I'm always curious because for stronger players, like how they got to where they got, right? And meanwhile, I'm here sitting at where I am at. And if anybody's curious who's weaker than me, how I got to where I got, I honestly, it's not that hard. It's not that easy to explain. Like, so I understand that me looking to a stronger player asking for that same advice may not always be like a shortcut to victory right away. But I think that putting a regimen into your study routine is definitely one of those ways. So thanks for writing in, Sadaharu, and thanks for that tip. Rio Kai writes, my study plan consists of 2 to 4 hours per day in 30 minutes to 2-hour chunks. I do 30 minutes of Sumego, aim to play two full serious 19x19 games at 20 to 30 minutes main time, and then supplement with online videos, lectures, pro games, or book reading. My goal is 3 dan by the end of 2025. Well, if your goal is 3 dan by the end of 2025, you're probably pretty strong already, and from the rigor that I see in your study plan, it's no surprise. So if you want to be a good, strong player, just follow this kind of study plan, 2 to 4 hours a day, 30 minutes to 2-hour chunks with 30 minutes of Sumego, blah, 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 blah. That is an intense study routine. Good luck to you. I hope you make it. That would be amazing. Please let me know if you do, and I can congratulate you on reaching 3 dan. I want to make it to 1 dan, but I haven't set a goal for myself as to when. Maybe I'll work on that after I get married, and then we'll see from there. I just kind of hope that it'll creep into my life that, one day I'll wake up and become a 1 dan, but I know that's not how it works, so I'm gonna have to put some work into it. So thanks for writing in, and thanks for your thoughts. Ferran writes, check the Ryo's work is never done, if I recall correctly. Shortish manga and anime, I think it's more translatable into Go. So I did look this up when I saw the comments. This is another shogi. Why does shogi get 2 animes when it's not as popular? I guess it's a Japanese thing, right? Because anime and manga is Japanese. We do have another manga currently running called Go to Go, I think. That's Sadaharu's making translation notes for. But I'm waiting for the actual translated version if somebody ever does that or gets the rights to do that. I want to read that in English because I tried reading in Japanese and it just did not work out with the plugins that I was trying to use and stuff. It's just not it's not convenient. But yeah, like because the manga that I'm reading, what's it called? The March Comes In Like a Lion. It's really not super about shogi. It's about this guy who's very sad, and he meets these girls who make him less sad or something like that. And then he also plays shogi. So if you're saying this one is more shogi related or more translatable to Go, maybe I'll check that one out. I'll keep my eyes peeled for it. I've never heard of it, so thanks for letting me know. And then Spiros writes, thank you. And I say back, thank you. Question of the week this week is, have you ever had a moment in your Go career where you felt like you might want to give up, where you felt frustrated? And if you're still a Go player now, how did you get past that? Or what do you think your advice would be for these players who write in and say that they're frustrated at learning the game? So I want to know your thoughts on that. So if you want to share your thoughts on that question, or have anything else Go related to share with me, or a question you want to ask me, leave a comment wherever you found this episode, or email me directly at starpointpaduk@gmail.com. That's starpointbaduk@gmail.com. If you're a YouTube listener, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. If you're a podcast listener, reviews and ratings also help. A very special thanks to James B. and Tristan for supporting Starpoint. If you want to support the show in any capacity, you can go to ko-fi.com/starpointpaduk. That's KO-FI. Or you can check out the Starpoint store at store.starpointpaduk.com. So the other day I heard this repetitive like smashing noise. Like it was just like this thudding, just repetitive. And when I went to check it out, I saw my friend, and he was whacking the lid of a pickle jar onto a Go board. And I asked him, like, what are you doing with that pickle jar? Why are you smashing it over the Go board? And he's like, I have this theory that if I hit the lid of this pickle jar on this Go board enough times, it'll open. And I told him, that's bad opening theory. Thanks for listening. Keep playing Go.